Where else on the radio would you hear the set that just played? For the most part, the music you hear on Border Radio is pretty hard to find on commercial radio stations. You'll hear this music only on a public radio station like Border Radio, where you, our listener, truly appreciates it and owns it. Visit borderradioaz.org to donate today.
What's up, Yuma? I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ronnie.
And on today's program, we're going to be joined by Tanya Hodges, who is the YCEDA Executive Director. Ag is somewhere in there, so just understand.
Alphabet soup
yeah,
over
but that's
here.
a lot. I didn't want to read out the whole thing, but we're going to be talking about desert agriculture with her. And we're also going to be joined by the mayor.
Ooh.
Yes, Douglas Nicholls, or Doug. I like
he
to
likes
call
Doug.
him. Yeah, he likes Doug. He's a regular guy. So we're going to be talking to him, of course, about Yuma,
That's right?
Yeah, a lot about Yuma. So stay with us for What's Up Yuma Radio, beginning right now on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
And streaming right now online through the KAWC YouTube and Border Radio Facebook pages. And send us an email to whatsup.yumaradio@kawc.org.
What's Up Yuma with Johnny Porter is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. YumaElectricServiceLLC.com.
Chili from Philly. Nick Papa Giorgio from Yuma.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to another episode of What's Up Yuma Radio. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ronnie.
And as promised, we have royalty in the building today. And Yuma royalty, I would say, Doug Nicholls. So can we say Doug or Douglas?
You can say Doug. You can say Douglas. I prefer one of those two.
One of those two.
People call me all sorts of names.
He likes Doug.
Yeah,
Let's
being a mayor, you probably get called a lot of names. So.
You know what? The
good,
people
some
of
bad.
Yuma are pretty good.
Oh,
Okay,
good,
good.
good.
But occasionally you get one upset person.
Yeah, one or two. So I was, I've known you for quite some time, but got some time to go over your bio. You're the 27th mayor, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
The 27th.
That's what they tell me.
That's what. Oh, okay, yeah, you don't count. You didn't sit there
You're
like
not sure.
1, 2,
Right.
3.
Right.
So I was talking to you off air, not originally from Yuma, so I guess we got to say that because you were talking about people that have been here for a long time, but you got here when you were 4,
When I
so
was
you're
4.
pretty much a human.
Yeah, this is home.
This is
Flat
home.
out. However you want to label it, this is home. When we moved here, I do remember. I'm from New Jersey originally.
Okay.
Toms
Oh, okay.
River. I do remember it, but bits and pieces as a 4-year-old would.
Yeah.
So you don't have the Jersey accent.
I don't. Well, I don't know.
That was probably a really bad impression.
I don't know. Was it good? You got to ask him. Do you remember? How does your family talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's your family talk? What's your mom say when she
What does
yells
your mom
at you?
say?
My mom's Italian
Douglas.
from Brooklyn, so it's totally
Douglas,
different
what
than
do you do?
Jersey.
I don't know.
Put
That
your
was
clothes in
probably
the
horrible
wash.
too.
Yeah. That's more.
Then that
Boston.
north.
That's-
Yeah,
Oh.
Boston. Yeah.
I didn't even have it right.
But anyway, that's how I got here.
He's like, oh my God, what are we doing?
What did I sign up for?
A lot
Yeah.
of time on part of just saying that I'm from Jersey. But anyway,
So what brought your family to Yuma then?
so my father was in the Army. He's a Vietnam vet,
Okay.
and he discharged at Fort Monmouth in New Jersey, which doesn't exist anymore, and that's where I was born. So it's kind of weird to say it doesn't exist. But
Yeah.
and the East Coast at the time was having a rougher time economically, and he had some brothers here in Yuma. He was originally from Tucson, so we made the trek across the country and settled in Yuma. Stayed with my uncle for like a year, and then got our own house. And kind of, I guess the assumption was it was going to be short term. And
Really? So it was. We're just going to get here. We have some family here.
Right.
And we're going to do this to get by, and then eventually head to where? Any idea where they wanted to go?
That was above my pay grade.
Okay. Yeah. You're 4 years
You're like, I'm
old.
just playing with my Legos over
here.
So, but we landed here, and as kids do, kids are resilient. Found
Yeah.
friends right away and that kind of thing. And we just kind of just stayed. Everything was good. So I'm not royalty because I went to Yuma High.
So you're a criminal.
Yeah. You're a criminal. Yeah.
But at age 18, I swore I'd never live in Yuma again. And
Really?
Me too.
Yep.
Wow.
I left right away,
You
and I
horrible
came
human
back.
beings.
actually-
The show's
Johnny's
over
been
now.
here.
Let's cut it out.
He doesn't like us anymore,
Yeah.
Doug.
This is
Go
a
ahead.
conversion story.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. There's a happy ending to this.
Yes.
You end up
Let
as a
him
mayor.
finish,
Okay.
Johnny.
I'll let him go.
So I actually went to upstate New York to go to school in architectural engineering school in Troy, New York, a place called Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. It is a place, if you're lived west of the Mississippi, you've never ever heard of it before, but it's pretty well respected in New York. Anyway, I went there for a year, learned what real, difficult education expectations were, but more importantly, found out I wasn't rich because it was a private school and it was very expensive.
Oh, wow.
I lost 1 year scholarship, didn't quite cover it, so I came back to Arizona and enrolled at Arizona State and just finished up as a Sun Devil. So I went from a criminal to a Sun Devil. Got my engineering degree in 94, married my high school sweetheart in 95, and then just was working up in Phoenix designing urban freeways.
So I want to back up a little bit. What was it about, like, you wanted to escape when you turned 18? What was like the early days of Yuma? Was it something like there wasn't enough here for you, or what was that?
It's a little bit hard to pinpoint, but I think it's a lot of the grass is greener on the other side. But I had a distinct impression that there was a kind of more of a community vibe of, it's just Yuma. Mediocre's good enough, and that bothers me.
You felt that while you were here. You felt that, and I think that is something that's real.
Yeah,
that can be felt, because that's what I felt. But go ahead.
Right. Okay. So that's verifiable. Then it's one of those things that upset me, because growing up, we didn't have a lot, but my mom was always like, God's given you a lot of gifts. You need to maximize those. You need to use those gifts. Otherwise, you're essentially, not performing with what God wants you to do. And so for me, mediocrity doesn't fit that mold.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was up in Phoenix, like I said, designing urban freeways and roadway projects and those kind of things. And we had an opportunity to come back, and in working kind of through that opportunity, I noticed the community had shifted. There were more positive things happening. There was civic pride really kind of building back. And the city didn't shut down during the winter, which is, in my youth, maybe there was, when I moved here, probably 30,000 people. So when the 100,000 people from the winter left, the city became pretty much a ghost town. And so like, for instance, my father wouldn't go to a restaurant that wouldn't stay open for the summer.
Yeah, I just heard about that yesterday. Somebody was telling me about that. Yeah,
that was very common. That and I get it; it's tough being a business owner and all, but that was his, like, you know what? I'm here all year. You're either here all year.
So you should
be
too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was changing, and actually had changed quite a bit by the time 1999 rolled around, which is when I moved back.
That's when you moved back, 1999.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you were in Phoenix. What brought you back to Yuma? Was it job opportunity to create something? Because I know you have your own business now, right?
Right.
Okay, so how'd that transition?
Well, so the opportunity came from some friends that opened up an engineering firm. That was the door. And when my wife and I started looking, we had 2 kids at the time. We were expecting a third. And we're like, the environment we were living in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, was fine. It was safe. It was good, all that. But it wasn't the quality of life we wanted for our kids. It wasn't family centric, because my wife had to work evenings because we couldn't afford a single income family. We lived in Mesa, but I worked in Phoenix, so that was like an hour commute each way. So if I wanted to go to a soccer game in the middle of the day, it just wasn't going to happen, kind of thing. And so it was really, at the end of the day, a quality of life move. We wanted our kids to grow up next to their grandparents, which all lived here at the time, and I even had some siblings still here, so they got to be more around family. And then I actually worked more when I moved here than less, but it became more convenient because it could be in 10 minutes I was home and I could have lunch
you don't have
kids.
that hour drive either way.
Correct.
And so you're working more, which hopefully means you're getting paid a little bit more. But, so that would make sense. So quality of life, you saw, wait a minute, these 2 different places, the quality of life is different, at least for your situation. And so it's like, we're going to go back to Yuma.
I get that. I moved to Phoenix when I was 18, 19 for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I had my son, and then we came back here, and we've been here ever since. But I, too, was like, I'm out of here. I'm 18. Mom, you can't tell me what to do. I'm out of here. I went to school up there. So did you help build the freeways up there?
Yes.
Like, they're awesome. Good job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't take credit for all of them. I've been gone 20 some years.
They're
but,
so spacious. They're actually voted some of the best freeways like in the whole country.
Yeah, it was planned out well early on.
They make sense.
The last project I worked on was the I-10 202 interchange in Ahwatukee.
Yep.
That's the one I walked away from to come back to Yuma. And I had a lot of friends in Phoenix. I'm like, why
would you do that?
Yeah,
Why? Why?
That's
Yuma?
the question for Yuma. Why?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it became that. Well, what's important in life?
Exactly.
So what's important? And I was asking off air if you're still a deacon for your church, because I remember when you told me that the previous radio station I was at, and that plays a real big part in your life. And it sounds like you got some of that maybe from your mom telling you about like respecting God and using all your gifts or your talents for the best of your ability and for the best of everybody else.
That's exactly where that came from. I grew up Catholic. My mom pretty much helped form my faith that I still have today. And in that, like seeking out, well, one important thing I need to say is when we moved back to Yuma, my wife and I made a very conscious decision that we were going to do our part to contribute back to the community to help make it the best Yuma it could be. We felt, I don't like the people who sit on the sidelines and throw criticism, but never roll up their sleeves.
Yeah.
And so that's where that really came from. I felt the call in a spiritual way to serve as a deacon. It was a 5-year schooling process, and it was a great experience for the schooling part because as a Catholic, I went to St. Francis, so I had all that catechism.
Me too.
Oh, there you go. And but I never had it as an adult. So when I got to get to deacon school, that's where I got to like have more dive into the adult level discussions of things.
Interesting.
So your faith in that plays a role in your, your position as the mayor because of certain ethical reasons, right? And principles and stuff. And I just want to highlight. So I remember one day interviewing you, and there was not a scandal, but there was a big uproar about a letter that went out with your name on it. Oh, yeah. And and when we're at the other station getting a bunch of calls and like, what's going on? What is this? What did the mayor sign off on? And I remember I kind of find out a little bit about what was happening behind the scenes. And you came on and you didn't throw anybody under the bus. You were gracious. You were just like, you took responsibility as a leader, and I was just like, I'm blown away because I've done a lot of interviews in that time, and I've seen a lot of politicians spin stuff and not take blame, not take accountability. And I remember afterwards, I talked with you. I said, "Wait a minute." I called you over. Like, how'd you do that? What'd you do that for? And then you mentioned your faith and as being a deacon, and that you're going to take responsibility. I was like, "Oh, this guy's the real deal."
Wow. Thanks. It's one of those things, and I'm Catholic, so I don't quote Bible and verse, chapter verse, but the part of the Bible that says, whatever you do, lift people up. That's so important because there's so much of pulling people down these days.
So much.
We can disagree. I could screw up. Whatever the situation is, at the end of the day, one, we're people of God, and two, none of us are perfect. So that situation is going to flip around, and I'm going to be the one that screwed up, or you're going to be the one. Doesn't matter. The other verse I love in the Bible is where it says God's going to judge you as you judge others.
Yes.
And I'm like, I need the biggest amount of grace to get through that door.
Now as a public figure, for sure.
Well, hopefully that's just part of the plan. But yeah, it's one of those things that why would it be hard on you? Because I don't really want that judgment on me.
Right.
Exactly.
And then it's the King James version that says, "Judge not, lest you be judged, and with what measure you judge, you will be judged." Yeah. So it's like that sticks in my head, and I'm nothing, but I know that verse is very powerful, and so it's like, well, why am I going to go judge all these people if I'm going to get the same judgment I'm putting out, like karma, basically?
Right. Yeah, you could look at it that way too. It's and at the end, when I started my campaign, I just brought it back down to the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. And I think when you approach things, I know that's like kindergarten level stuff, but that's
good. We have to keep it at that level. Keep it simple, man.
That should be your framework, and then all the adult stuff enters from there. But if that's your framework, I think that provides the best experience for everybody and gets us, particularly as a community, in the direction we want to go. If we spend a lot of time fighting each other, picking at each other, trying to bring people down and keep them down so you can get up. That means we spend a lot of energy doing nothing.
And it destroys community. When you're trying to build community, it destroys it. And then everybody's on edge because, if I mess up, can I be next to be thrown under the bus on a radio show and get that kind of publicity that I don't want?
Right.
Yeah,
right,
so
exactly.
We're going to talk, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about what made you decide to run for mayor after you've been here for some time, and what you saw, and maybe some improvements you could make, and what improvements you did make. So we're going to be back with that more. We're talking to Mayor Douglas Nicholls right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. Specializing in residential and commercial wiring, services also include EV charging unit installs and solar-ready service panel upgrades. Information and consultation appointments at yumaelectricservicellc.com.
This is 94.7 FM. I'm Juan Garcia from the KAWC Newsroom. The weather forecast for Yuma today is sunny and breezy with the high near 102 and gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight with a low around 80. Advocates for Social Security are rallying in Phoenix this week at an event they're calling the Silver Sit-In. For more details, visit kawc.org/news. Stay tuned for more What's Up Yuma with Johnny and Ronnie on 94.7 FM KOFA Border Radio.
The Mexican Consulate in Yuma is presenting the exhibition Retrospective 1988 to 2021 by artist Antonio Munoz, representing more than 33 years of the artist's work. The collection can be experienced from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays through September at the Cesar Chavez Cultural Center in San Luis, Arizona.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here with Mayor Doug Nicholls, and he was asking me who did the music. So shout out to Aaron Brigman. Aaron Brigman did the music. I appreciate you, buddy. I know he watches time to time. He doesn't live here. He lives in Wisconsin. Yeah, he's from Wisconsin. But, so we were talking a little bit about how you came back to Yuma. You saw the quality of life difference here. What made you run for Yuma mayor? Like, what was that decision? You also talked about community. We're going to give back. You became a deacon. Where did this kind of get on your radar?
That was the mistake I made, was say we were going to give back. So it was about a year after I became a deacon. So something you should know about me is I'm an engineer, right? So typically, as an engineer, you expect people that are socially awkward. Okay, I am socially awkward, but also can't speak.
Engineers are weird or something?
Something like that.
No wonder my son wants to be one.
Good. Yeah.
And an architectural
Send him my way.
He's like a mini you. He was voted like a. He's going to be in his class. He was voted like a most. Whatever, to be a motivational speaker.
Oh, wow.
Like, he needs to.
No, that's not me. So specifically, I couldn't speak in front of a group. And, well, being a deacon, you have to give homilies. So that's kind of
it's a pretty big speaking job.
So, right. And so pretty much the conversation with God was, look, you got to fix this because I can't do the job you want me to do.
And there's a scripture about that too anyway, but go ahead.
Right. And there's a lot of scripture.
Moses, that's what he said. Yes. I can't speak. He told that. And he's like, well, have Aaron. Yeah, give him Aaron.
I don't have an
You didn't get Aaron. It's like
I'm losing the scripture game, you guys. I got nothing.
God's like, hey, it's on you, buddy.
Yeah. So anyway, at the end, all that's going on, and I'm struggling, but I'm doing my best. And anyway, that's actually even just a sideline. It really comes down to my wife and I decided to do what we could for the community. And at the time, so this was 2013, 14, so I had some community business leaders come to me and they say, we'd like you to so let me back up. So I missed
it's all right. It's all good.
Yeah, we can't just stop this. And
no.
All right. In 2009, Ross Heeb left City Council because him and his wife at the time moved back to Iowa. And City Council has an opportunity to either have an election or appoint somebody. And they decided to appoint somebody. So I volunteered in a way to kind of, one, help with the speaking thing on the deacon side, but also to understand the community from a different perspective. It was 5 months. They did appoint me, and they appointed me for 5 months. And Larry Nelson was the mayor. He did an amazing job. He sent me everywhere. He sent me to Phoenix to talk to the governor, to talk to the legislature. He sent me to D.C. to talk to our representatives there.
Shout out to Larry Nelson.
Right.
Love him.
He really got, in 5 months, it was amazing how much stuff I did.
He put you like into the fire, huh?
Right,
You just like, go get it.
And at the end of the 5 months, I was done. That was it. And in the next 4 years, when the mayor election was coming back up, the community members, the couple business friends, they're real friends is what they are. They said, we like what you did in 2009. Well, the magic about 2009 was the last 5 months of the year, there's no budget. The budget's already approved. CIP's already approved. All the hard stuff's done.
Yeah, everything.
This is all
the
kissing baby, shaking hands, right?
The best part.
So I explained that to them, and they said, no, you'll be fine. And so my wife and I, we talked about it. We prayed about it. We this is going to turn into a Christian radio show here in a minute.
No, it's all good.
And it just became, well, I'm not sure because I still can't speak in front of people, but let's see what happens. And so we went out, and sure enough, the people of Yuma elected me then. And I slowly got better speaking in front of people.
When you got elected, what did that feel like? Like the night, what is it, like a big election night? Do y'all sit around?
It is
like,
kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
It is.
So when they were like, it's done.
We didn't do balloons from the ceiling though.
Dang it.
And then, were you running against Al at that? Was Al termed out?
Well,
I forget.
He wasn't termed out. He just decided not to run.
He decided not to run.
So it was
Okay.
Raul Mendoza, who's a council member.
Yeah, he was a former policeman, maybe, or something.
Right, he was in law enforcement, and he was on council, I think, when I was on council in 2009.
So were you surprised? Or were you like, yeah?
I don't know. It's been so long. I guess I was definitely surprised from certain angles, but to run for office, you have to have a certain level of confidence.
Yeah.
If you're going to run assuming you're not going to win,
You're not going to win.
You're not going to win.
Yep.
So it's a balance between ego and
That's
humility. Which is tough for a lot of people.
And then you're like, oh, I won. Now I have to work.
Right. Well, that is what it is. It's all about the work. Everyone sees the pictures and the stuff on the front page of the newspaper, but for every picture, there's probably 10 hours of work that gets done. And I got a lot of staff. I got a lot of people that help get it done. The employees at the city of Yuma are amazing. Our interim city administrator is amazing. He's also an engineer, so we can communicate.
Jay?
Yeah, we can communicate. Right?
Yeah,
easily.
you're both awkward.
Right?
You
Yeah,
can,
exactly.
Like, just be awkward together.
You understand the weirdness. He's
Whatever,
like, oh, I know
noises.
what you're thinking.
Me. Like, oh yeah, me. I don't know.
Well, not quite.
Jay's coming on the show
engineer.
on Monday. So
Great.
Yeah, Jay will be on Monday.
We
So
did book him. Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Very good. And that's how I got on. I really honestly thought it'd be everyone says this, I'll just do one term. And I really thought I could, but I didn't really understand how slow things work.
well, but not just that. Like they championed you to run again.
Yeah, they did.
They wanted you.
Yeah.
You did such a great job.
liked you.
And not to muddy anybody else, but there was very divisive times before you got elected. It wasn't roses at that time. Though that last 4 years was very difficult for a lot of people, and it was contentious.
Right.
And so you came in. It was a breath of fresh air.
Well, and that's, I think, the reason my friends came to talk to me. My wife calls it my superpower. I'm vanilla. Like, I mean, everything's just like, I don't get excited. It's to me, everything's an engineering problem.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Everything's
Yeah.
fixable.
Right.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
solution to everything.
I like that. So
Yeah.
you mentioned the work. So what are some of the things that you set your mind to and were able to accomplish your time as a mayor? You could start from the beginning all the way till today.
So the major thing that became very apparent to me, and this is way before I became mayor, I got elected to the Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation Board, and how impactful economic development is and how many problems it solves in a community when you can raise people's income and give them a job that they enjoy, that they have a quality of life with, that then flows into civic pride. It flows into, you're even spending more money because you have more money to spend.
Yeah.
So there's tax revenue. And so anyway, that's been my main focus is economic development. And it shows up in a lot of different ways.
So can you give us one way?
Yeah.
So like the spaceport, let's talk about that. That's the most relevant. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's really not about launching rockets.
Oh, no. I thought me and Ronnie were going to get a
I wanted
rocket
to go
launch.
to the moon.
Yeah, we were going to go up to Mars, I think. You're not
My
Elon?
first radio show.
No one's climbing on top of those rockets.
Okay,
They're not
okay.
big enough.
All right, dream squash.
But the idea is that we would be the only launch facility in the state of Arizona.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And for the most part,
That would be
in the
huge.
Southwest.
That'd be cool.
And so what does that do? That tells the aerospace industry, hey, Yuma's on the map. They're an aerospace community. So guess what? Let's manufacture our satellites right next to where we're going to launch them. Let's manufacture our rockets. Let's do our research. And we can utilize YPG and MCAS on.
Oh, that's great.
on some of
Yes.
that.
That's a great idea.
So it's about the greater economic impact. Yes, I'm an engineer. Yes, I love launching rockets. Yes, I did the model rocket stuff when I was little.
Cool.
All that
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
stuff. But at the end of the day, it's about creating high quality paying jobs that will also bring in higher education and give more opportunity for the people of Yuma. That's the goal with aerospace.
Okay, I guess I wasn't educated on that,
Me
right?
neither.
Yeah, we did have.
Well, it's easier to sell, hey,
Yes.
let's launch rockets.
Elevate
We had
Southwest.
Elevate Southwest, and they talked a little bit about
So
it,
where
but I
does
didn't get
that,
the full.
Yeah, we didn't understand either. Where does it stand today?
So we are in the FAA application process. We're doing our environmental study. So we need to make sure we're not going to, mess up ag or anything like that. Everything's got to make sure we works with our environment. And so that'll be roughly done probably February of next year. But at the same time, we're working with Mexico. So when we launch, we're going to be launching south.
Okay.
We are, I've been told by the little rocket scientists, we will be at international airspace by the time we hit the border.
Okay.
But we still need to talk to Mexico,
Yeah.
right? So we're doing that right now. We've met with the Undersecretary of Science, Technology, Humanities, and Innovation. He wants to do an MOU. In other words, saying Mexico wants to support this effort. We met with the governor of Sonora. He says the same thing. So we're writing those up right now, and we're putting together all the governor appointed me to the aerospace. The Space Commission, the Arizona Space Commission. And so we're working with industry partners to launch here, to help us, build this spaceport. Because at the end of the day, there isn't going to be a City of Yuma NASA.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be the City of Yuma owns a spaceport, but we've got this great industry partner.
Yeah, there's
knows
development.
space
There's
and can do it efficiently. They're going to run it, and that'll be the relationship there.
Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense now
Exactly.
than me and Ronnie going up in a rocket. But
I was so excited for my training.
she was preparing already.
no Teslas, no
Teslas.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Not
I don't
gonna
need
happen.
one. I don't want one.
So you had some events that you wanted to talk about, some stuff you got going on.
Yes. So one of the things that I noticed when I got in office was how, I don't want to say disconnected, but like how people feel like they can't talk to their government. And a lot of it is when you come into our council chambers, it's this big room, and they
It's
built it so
intimidating.
we're up on a pedestal, which I hate, but that is what it is. I'm not going to spend city money fixing that.
Yeah.
But so what we've done over the years, and it hasn't been every year, but we go out in the community and we pick different non-city buildings to house public meetings. And the idea is this is a meeting for the public. In other words, I don't have an agenda. I'm there to listen. And I'll have like the city administrator and probably the police chief. So we're not going to overwhelm you with staff to tell you why you're wrong, right? We're there to listen. If I can answer your question, I'll answer your question. If I can't answer your question, we'll go find out why. If we want to have a discussion about whatever, we have that. We just need to keep it within what is relevant to the city.
Gotcha.
We're not
Exactly.
solving world peace.
Yeah.
And how do we find out about these?
They're online at my Facebook page. They'll be pushed out by the city. They're in September 22nd at Palmcroft, 23rd at American Legion, Post 56, 24th at Stone Ridge Church, and 29th at Centennial Middle School. You can show up at any of them. You don't have to be living close to one or the other, whatever works. for you. And so if those don't work for you, my email online goes to me.
Okay.
It doesn't get filtered or answered by a bot or nothing like that. You can call the office. There's plenty of ways to get.
So I could show up at one of those meetings and take the mic and say, I want to go to space.
You can, yes.
You can. It's like enough out of you, Ronnie. Like security.
And we'll
let her in.
We will have the same conversation we just had.
Okay.
Yes.
And we got
Just making sure.
a few seconds left. You have your bike ride?
Yes.
When's your bike
yay.
ride?
October 25th. We start in Yuma. This is the 9th year. We're going to have about 400 people. We're going to start in Yuma. We're going to stop all the way down. It's a ride, not a race. And at the end, there should be tacos and beer.
Should be.
Has there ever not been?
Last year, there was a little hiccup.
Oh, there was a hiccup.
Yeah.
People, it'll be fixed this year.
It'll be fixed this year. But
You know,
we cross the border and we end at the City Hall in San Luis Rio, Colorado.
Really?
Yeah, I did it one year with Russ Clark. I went on that, and he has the e-bikes.
Yes.
So I was like,
that's
we're
easy.
we're going to do the e-bikes.
Those
So
are totally acceptable.
they're acceptable.
I
And
want to
see,
take- wow, that's
so
really
we did the
awesome.
e-bikes, and I just remember the hospitality in San Luis was amazing.
Off the hook, yeah.
Very
It
cool.
was so good. They were giving me food and beer, and it's like, we stayed late, and they just kept dropping off 6-packs at my table, and we're
You're like, how am I going to bike home?
well, we didn't have to bike home. We had a ride. We thought ahead, so we were going to
you
bike
can't
home.
bike and drink anyways.
No. So we had a designated driver, so we drank a lot.
And if you leave with the group, Customs does a great job at the port. They give us a lane to come through,
Oh,
Yeah.
so we
nice.
don't have to wait in. And then YCAT sits at the other
Yep.
end of the port, and they give us a ride back home, so you don't have to ride back home.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for coming on.
Yay,
One more
thank
time,
you.
how do people get a hold of you?
Yuma, let's see, just go to the Yuma City of Yuma website or douglas.nichols@yumaaz.gov.
There you go. And thank you so much, Doug
you.
Nichols. Thank you for all that you've
for having me
done
on.
here as the mayor. We appreciate it. And we hope you stick around. And we hope you stick around after the break. We're coming back with Tanya Hodges. We're going to talk about ag right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
The City of Yuma presents Tacos and Tunes, Yuma's annual food and music festival on Main Street, October 3rd and 4th. Along with multiple taco chefs vying for awards, the two-day event will include a variety of live music performances, a classic car show, and a michelada contest. Event schedule and information at yumaaz.gov/events.
Next time on the Retro Cocktail Hour, we've got stereo overstimulation by the Mallet Men, also new sounds by the Hollywood Film Orchestra, and TV Private Eye Jazz. Daryl Brogdon here. Join me where the music's shaken, not stirred. The Retro Cocktail Hour.
Saturday evening from 7 to 9 on Border Radio KOFA.
The KAWC Student Newsroom is funded by the Local News Initiative at the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, the Scripps Howard Fund, and by generous local support. Thank you for supporting the next generation of public media. Learn more about the project and hear stories from emerging journalists at kawc.org/student newsroom.
For KAWC News in Yuma, I'm Lou Gum. A group of Arizona farmers, ranchers, cities, and businesses is asking to join a high-profile water lawsuit against Attorney General Chris Mays. The case centers on Fundamonte LLC, a Saudi-owned alfalfa grower in La Paz County, accused by Mays of creating a public nuisance by pumping massive amounts of groundwater. Mays admits the company isn't breaking state water laws, but says its operations have dried up wells, caused the land to sink, and threatened local water quality. Attorney Brad Pugh told the court that Mays is trying to sidestep decades of groundwater law and fears the case could set a precedent affecting legal water users statewide.
This case, as you can tell by reading the complaint, is an open attempt to utilize the court system to disrupt longstanding statutory law governing groundwater use in Arizona.
Outside of Arizona's regulated active management areas, landowners can pump as much groundwater as needed. Mays says legislative inaction forced her to test this never-before-used nuisance theory. A judge is expected to decide soon whether the coalition can join the suit. I'm Lou Gum.
The Yuma County Library District provides activities and resources at its branches for people of all ages. Events include story time, citizenship classes, bilingual programs, crafts, author talks, and more. For more information about the activities and calendar of events, plus other in-person and online resources, visit yumalibrary.org.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here now with...
Clear your throat.
Yeah,
Oh, wait. Can I
what?
pause real fast?
What are we
I think
doing?
you're missing something.
What?
I think you need to tell somebody.
Oh, yeah.
something
Oh,
today.
yeah. There you go. Yeah,
I reminded him.
Thank you so much. Shout out my daughter. She turned 1 today. Emma Grace Porter. She's 1 year
Happy
old.
birthday.
So can't wait to
Happy
see her after this. Happy birthday, Emma. I love
Super
you.
cute.
I know she's not, I guess,
She's
watching or paying
listening.
attention. Well, I hope so, But yeah, happy birthday. And so now back to the regular
back to the
order
show.
of business. We have a doctor in the house. Woo! Yeah, we got a doctor. Dr. Tanya Hodges. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And go ahead and get that mic right close to you if you could.
Can you hear?
Yeah. You can move that.
There we go.
It's all
Is that
good.
better?
Yep.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about today. What's it like to grow up with Tom Rush? That's going to be the whole episode.
I just found out she is his
of-
oldest sister.
Yeah. So what was that like? Was it traumatic? Spill the tea. No, I'm just kidding. We don't got to do that.
No,
But-
give us some dirt.
Okay.
I want to know.
But
Well, I had 4 brothers, and so that tells you about
Yeah.
it. Tom was just one of them.
Tom and then Tim, right?
Yeah.
I met Tim.
Tark,
Okay.
Tark and Tom.
Tark?
Tark.
Wow, that's a
And
crazy
Theo
name.
is the baby.
Oh,
And Theo?
Theo.
That's a cute name for a baby.
That's a good one for the baby. But no, you're a doctor, and you're. Let's see, I have it somewhere in my notes, and I don't know.
Were you
no,
the
I
only
can't find it.
girl?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 of us.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of you.
But there's a lot of boys.
Yeah. I have a daughter. She's the youngest of 2 boys, or like 3, like boy, girl. So yeah, she can wrestle and then go do her makeup.
Yeah, that's how we are. We're tough.
Yeah.
So originally it was Tom that said, "Hey, you should get my sister on talk about ag." And so I'm going to read this because it's long. You're the Yuma Center of Excellence for Desert Agriculture.
Wow.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
That I did it right.
Yep.
Okay. And so what is that? What does that mean? And if you get a shot of this, like I'm going to
how
get you to
pretty.
autograph this right here. You're on here. So what does that mean to be a Center of Excellence for ag?
Yeah, so we're very unique. We are part of, it's a public-private partnership between the ag industry and the University of Arizona.
Okay.
And so it's very unique because of that. The partnership is literally, we're all woven together. And so the idea is that we're bringing together challenges that exist that are too big for the industry to solve alone or too big for the university to solve alone.
Okay.
And we bring together teams. And those teams can be not just U of A people, they can be agencies like USDA, the Bureau of Reclamation, NASA. Like we partner with public health. We partner with all these different groups. And then we can bring researchers from around the world to help solve these challenges.
So what would be like a typical challenge or one that sticks out in your head that you've had to go out and try to like, okay, we need to get a team together, get the Avengers together and go save the world. What was one of those that maybe stood out for you?
So there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. My goodness.
Start
Okay.
at the top.
We have 10 initiatives.
Okay.
And the initiatives are like, think of buckets, like bucket content areas.
Okay.
And then we start working on challenges within each one of those areas. So one of them is water efficiency.
Sure.
Right? Because we're all right now in
Yeah.
a drought. Everybody's
right.
worried about water.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, it's
where-
like monsoon season and there's no
There's, like,
monsoon.
no rain.
Yeah.
Yes, but being that Yuma produces 90% of all the leafy greens
Yes.
for all of North America,
Yes.
it's very impactful.
That still blows
it's
my
not
mind.
just us, but the work that we're doing. So
That's right.
part of it is looking at the crops, each individualized crops, using very complex technology to measure water efficiencies.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
showing, are we efficient? How efficient are we crop by crop? So one of our studies that we did was over 7 years, and we had 15 different crops that we moved all through the valley, these
Wow.
eddy covariance systems, and then measured water efficiency
That's awesome.
of these crops. And what turned out was not only are we efficient, we're 80 to 95% efficient,
Wow.
depending on the crop and the location. But when you start looking at the efficiency of the soil management, because salts are in our water,
Yep.
and as we use less water, salts go up.
Okay.
So now we're working on soil health. Using less water, knowing that there's a drought, how do we manage where we just aren't, we don't want to burn our soil out because that's the most
Correct.
important thing. So for soil is the equivalent of our gut. I don't know if you've been following gut health, human health. The healthier your gut is, the more likely.
Yes.
So it's the same thing with plants.
Yeah.
Soil is the gut of the plant. So we want to maintain and make sure that our soils remain healthy.
So you're saying, one correction, being efficient with the water, led to an unforeseen consequence, well, maybe foreseen, but the salt. And so salt becomes an issue now to the soil if you're going to try to grow more crops at the same field. So you have to figure out what to do with the salt now? Is that
right? Or you're looking at our practices, and our practices, from farmers that have been farming here for 100 years, these families that have been here for a long time, their use of water. So sometimes you see, the flood irrigation. Right now, this time of the year, you look out and these fields are flooded, and you're like, wait, they're wasting water. Why are they putting that on there? Well, why? Because they have to push the salts down.
Yeah.
And as part of the study, we hypothesized that in our growing techniques throughout the year as we're pushing water that we're really moving salts. But we found out we're not really. We're watering the plants, we're doing things to get the crop to grow, but it takes that extra push on the soil to get the salts down below the growing area and maintain that top level that's super healthy.
Now I know why everywhere, because I live in a bunch of middle of the fields on like D and 24th. I'm like, no, everything's flooded. Now I know why.
Yep. So it's that fine balance of using less but keeping more.
Yeah.
So how do we maintain that along the way?
So it sounds like science is involved in this thing,
She
right?
is a doctor.
I lead with that because. So was that something you were interested in as a kid?
Absolutely.
Did you grow up around ag, and then you were like, "What is that?" And you're playing in the fields.
So did you help too in the summers on the farm,
Absolutely.
like Tom did?
Yep.
He said,
okay.
He did it for the money. Did you do it for the science?
I ended up in agriculture, and he did not.
So it interested you.
It interested me. Yes, right from the.
So what
very
was that? The
beginning.
early interest. Let us know about that.
So and some people have already heard this, and if you've heard this about me, forgive me for telling the story, but it's a cool story. So every night on the farm, my dad was a grower for this farming company, and we grew table grapes and citrus and specialty crop type of things. And every night, all 7 of us, and my mom, dad, 9 of us, would get in the car. The babies would be in the front of the pickup, the older ones in the back of the pickup, and my dad would cruise so slow, he wouldn't even push on the gas. He would literally just let it pack.
Yeah.
And we'd drive the whole farm and look at everything in the pink evening hours, it's so pretty, right?
Beautiful, absolutely
Think about
beautiful.
that. And one night, he slams on the brakes, throws it in a park, and if you know anything about my dad, he had to throw a few little words in there, right? And he jumps out to the grapes that were in front of us, and he grabbed something off of it, and he threw it on the ground, and he stepped on it, and I probably was 7.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
And he said, "See that plant? Plants talk to us."
Okay.
That plant was talking to us. See how the grape leaves wilted and the colors and how they turned? There was something on there. Well, it was a big tomato hornworm that was on the vines.
Okay.
And he saw it from a distance because the plant talked to him.
So that's
and I was like, I want to
the
talk
coloration
to
of the plant. Like there was some there's some details.
It was
and it was wilted.
Yeah.
No, it just didn't like it. There wasn't even disease yet. It just was eating on there. The worm was, and it didn't like it. So the plant was talking to it, and he's like, I could see that they were there.
Oh, yeah.
But you'd have to go in and turn the leaves under to see it. And I
That's
was
so
like,
cool.
I want to talk to plants.
So 7 years old.
She's like, I want to be a tree hugger.
Yes, absolutely.
So when I mentioned Avengers earlier, you're one of them. You're like you have a secret power to talk to plants.
Yes.
And so how did that develop then? Were you more inquisitive to your dad when he asking questions and following that thread?
Now think about it. The oldest of 7 and a girl.
Yes.
So the normal thing is go help your mom in the kitchen,
Correct.
right? Well, I'm a foodie and I do love to cook
Okay.
food. I love food. But if I had a choice, I would say I'm going with Dad.
Yeah, out in the fields. We're
I'm
going to go
going
get
with
dirty.
Dad.
Going with
out in the
Dad.
fields.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Love
work in
that.
the fields. I'm
Yeah.
going to harvest. I'm going to drive the semi trucks. I'm going to work in, whatever it ended up being, that's what I like to do. So when I went to college at U of A, I knew that I wanted to study agriculture, but kind of back in the day, women agronomists, that just wasn't part of it when I was going to school. So I took all the agronomy and entomology classes and plant pathology, but then I said, I'm going to be a high school teacher. Because that's kind of where I felt I could make my impact.
Exactly.
And back at that point, that was kind of more acceptable.
There was so there was part. It was part of the culture then.
Exactly.
It was you made a decision, not totally based on how you felt, but a little bit of that, and then a little bit on how culture and what perception was.
Right. And I knew also at Antelope High School, where I went to high school, the FFA program, being involved and all that. So I'm like, I can do that too. So Cibola High School was just opening right when I graduated from college. and I became the first ag teacher there and did that for a couple years. And then as I started having kids, my husband's family was in agriculture. They had seed company, and they were going to open a transplant company. So they said, hey, do you want to come manage that? So I switched over and managed that part of the business for 15 years.
Wow.
And then when my kids started getting into the age, was Farm Bureau president and active in all the associations. And then when my kids started getting ready to go to college, and I'm like, oh, I have 4 that are 5 years apart. How am I going to pay for it? And then I was always working with the university, helping with their research and grow out stuff at the greenhouses. And then they said, hey, we're going to open a campus in Yuma. Are you interested? Ag would be the #1 thing we're going to be doing. We know you can teach. We know you have the background. So that's how I made the transition to U of A. And I managed the academic programs here in partnership with Arizona Western College for 16 more years.
Oh, wow.
And then when the executive director of YCEDA opened, I felt like this was the magic because it was academics and industry and this halfway point. And I'm like, oh, I've got both.
So you got almost like the best of both worlds.
Yes.
You were able to marry the best of both worlds, and it's something that when 7-year-old you know that one day you would be in this place. And we're going to talk about that and more. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about her journey and how she ended up on the cover right here. That she's going to, where are we at? Where's the camera? Right here. We're on the radio too. People are like, what is he holding up? But we're going to talk about that and more right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Sunrise Cleaning, serving the Yuma area's residential and commercial cleaning needs. Sunrise exclusively uses eco-friendly cleaning products and provides specialty services such as solar panel, carpet, and RV cleaning. More information and appointment booking at sunrisecleaningaz.com.
Hear the rhythm. Feel the beat. Let your curiosity run away on the Latin Alternative. Hi, I'm Josh Norick. Every episode of the Latin Alternative takes you on a thrilling rendezvous of sonic and exotic landscapes in Latin rock, funk, hip-hop, electronic, and tropical music. Join me and my co-host Ernesto Lechner on the Latin Alternative.
Monday evening at 7 on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM.
AWC's Small Business Development Center will host a business pitch competition on September 10th at its location on Redondo Center Drive. Plan, Pitch, and Prosper 2025 will offer a Shark Tank-style competition for individuals who wish to showcase their ventures. Information is at azwestern.edu/SBDC.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are talking to Tanya Hodges, Dr. Tanya Hodges, about everything ag. And I learned off air it's YCEDA. You can just say YCEDA.
Yes. I said YCEDA. She's like, YCEDA.
YCEDA. I like that. I wish I would have known that before. I should ask more questions and prepare better.
It's okay.
But agriculture, huge for Yuma, right?
It is Yuma.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was yesterday we had a guest on, and Ronnie mentioned, like, did the military bring you here? And was it...
Oh my gosh, I can't remember.
Anyway,
my memory's blown.
No, it was my husband got a job in ag here, which is okay. You think military or ag? Ag is huge.
Oh, it was Jennifer.
Jennifer yesterday. Ag is huge here in Yuma. So to be able to be a part of somebody that, or a group of somebody's that solve problems, what does that feel like?
It feels amazing. And you would not even realize and recognize how much of the science that's going on out at like Yuma Proving Grounds is very similar to the technologies that are happening in ag.
Okay, explain a little bit.
It's just the use of them, of using those technologies might be a little different. So whether it's automation and AI, right? Whether it's using sensors to track humans or sensors to track animals in the field.
Do you guys use drones?
We use drones. The military use drones. So we do a lot of, YCEDA does a lot of collaboration and partnerships with Yuma Proving Ground and MCAS as well.
Oh, wow.
Mostly Yuma Proving Ground, but we also have relationships with MCAS as well. Just looking at the overlap and then even the workforce development that's along the way, because if you know how to use a drone, you can use it whether you're using it for military purposes or for agriculture purposes.
So was it there had to be like an initial conversation with YPG? Were they pretty open to that, like partnering?
Yeah, and part of that partnering at the very beginning was filling the workforce gaps here.
Okay.
Because at the very beginning, when I started, again, back in the academic side 15 years ago, the numbers of engineers that were processing through Yuma was high. Like 100 would come in, 80 would leave. 100 would come in, 80 would leave. So trying to get a stable workforce all the way across Yuma County, in particular at YPG, the engineers that were needed. So we started engineering programs U of A offered out here.
Okay, so again, you're solving another problem.
Yes, to help with the local workforce.
Yeah. Wow.
And so that's just developed that. Yes, we're still working on doing those partnerships, but now we're also looking at these technologies. And
can you tell us a little bit about like a new technology you're working on?
Yes, we can. So I'm going to talk.
She's like, legally, yes, I can.
No, I can, because the vision is global.
Oh.
Okay. The vision is happening here, but it's a global impact. So in partnership with Yuma County and the governor's office and the farmers and YCEDA, through YCEDA being kind of that collaborator, we recognized that people couldn't get phone service, number one. We had no broadband. We had very little way. You drive across Yuma County, your phone would drop, you'd say, welcome to Mexico, right? We get all of those all the way across. So as part of it, farmers were struggling even in their offices to be able to get the technology. Through all of that work over time, we went in and applied in partnership with the county to bring broadband here through the black fiber, the aloe. You see aloe trucks everywhere, right? That's a piece, a small piece. But the next level then is bringing in 34 ag towers across the green belt of Yuma County that will be from one end to the other. That will have tools on the towers that are specifically for farmers.
Okay.
So it's about moving your equipment across, using tractors that have autonomous vehicles, so you're not even going to have drivers. It's about collecting information so that we can have automated weeders and thinners that are already starting in our area, but then using sensors. Like the plan is to have the whole thing connected. It will be the largest green belt space in the world.
Wow.
Not only are we going to have a spaceport.
Yeah, the mayor talked about the spaceport, and now we have this.
Now we're going to have this?
Yes. And so part of it, going back to your question on technology, part of it is being able to think about AI and AI as a test bed for our region, because since we're going to be the largest region in the world in arid agriculture, we want to be developing the whole infrastructure to be the test bed for arid agriculture for the world.
Wow.
So
that's
other places,
huge.
well, 45% of the world is arid agriculture.
Okay.
So it's a large part of it. So if we can perfect it, and then test and get the results and then teach others, then not only what we're doing here, but then we can push that out to the world. So we just received an NSF grant to become an AI test bed site.
Cool.
As part of U of A in Yuma.
Okay.
So again, it's layered. It's all these different layers. And in order to, we have to test things and make sure that things are working. Well, that's also in partnership working with YPG, because they need AI test support as well. We are all working on the same project. So it's not like it's just one group. It's these groups that are all coming together to say, okay, what are the skill sets? What are the technologies? Where are the overlaps? And then how do we bring in the infrastructure to support so that we have good, solid research, we have good, solid tests going on, and then we can take it to the next level and push it out where it needs to be pushed out.
So when you go to a typical farmer here in Yuma and say, like, this technology is coming, this is what we're working on, what's the reaction? Are they super grateful? They want to get involved?
They've been
what is it
involved
like?
all the way through. So when we say the word YCEDA, just remember, it's the farmers mixed in with the university in that net.
Got it.
So it's been a communication.
But it can't be all the farmers, right? Like,
it's if
you don't have like that one farmer that's like, get off my land.
No. And the towers themselves are going to be on because it's in partnership with the county.
Okay.
They'll be on the county right-of-ways. So they're not going to be in the field, because you're farming in the field. You don't want a tower in the middle of your field, right? So they'll have access. But you're hitting a really great point, and that is integration. Just because we build them doesn't mean they're going to use them. So that's that next level. We're going to be we have several cool events happening, but one in November, it's the Ag Tech Conference.
Okay.
We call it the Desert Difference. It's a 2.5-day conference where we're bringing together and we're showcasing. We're also working with GYDC in an EDA grant to build a incubator, ag tech incubator, where these new startup companies can come and they can practice and they can test in an ag environment versus Silicon Valley that they don't have any agriculture.
Wow. So that's pretty interesting because you mentioned ag, right? So I'm thinking that they're going to be out in the field doing something like farming or getting crops. But no, this is technology. So you're going to have an incubator where they're going to just work on technology, but then able to go actually test it in real world situations at a farm, at somebody's place that needs that technology. That's what you're working on?
Yep. And we have an experimental station first, which is if you are down on 8th Street and Somerton Avenue, we have two locations, one on the Mesa and one there. It's over 500 acres. And those are the test sites first. The farmers don't want you testing in their field.
Of course not.
You want to wait till it's to the point that it's ready to it's ready to roll out and it's cost effective. It's doing all the things it's supposed to do. So we bring them first to the experimental station. We let them test. We work with them, develop their product, showcase their product at like the Ag Tech Conference days and things like that. And then when it's ready, then we help get the word out to the farmers or the people buying the product. And it could be the farmers, it could be the support. Because remember, farmers are 1%.
Yeah.
It's all the supports that are supporting the farmers. And it's at different levels. Like the chemical companies might want to be using technology to be measuring.
I was going to ask you, like, what are the type of people that are coming to you to use this incubator?
They're scientists, computer science, techie type. Think of technology people. That's their background is mostly that. And helping them come to our experimental station, we can hook them up with agronomists. They don't need to learn how to farm. We have people that know how to farm.
Like, we'll supply you with the farmer.
Just tell us what you want, and then we'll be, if you're going to be using, let's just say lasers to be killing weeds, because that's real.
That's crazy.
No, that's real. There's lasers to kill weeds.
Wow, okay.
You don't need to grow the crop and create the weeds. We can do that.
Yeah,
and then you bring your equipment in.
Bring the lasers.
I want to see a laser show.
Hold on. Can we do a What's Up Yuma radio field trip to see these lasers?
I would love to.
Yeah, we need to do like a...
In November.
In November, we can see lasers?
You'll be able to see a lot of the animation.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see the lasers. If the lasers are there, I'll be there.
Still look right at it.
But, see the technology in action. So the incubator, it's still to come.
Yep. It's coming, but we're going to have our first set of startup companies this coming fall. We're anywhere from 3 to 6 that we're piloting.
Okay.
Coming from California and doing a 6-month term here during the growing season to see, kind of pilot and see how it's working with the idea, because we're all about data. We want to pilot things before we do the big one, right? To see what that relationship, what type of tools they need, what kind of environments would they be wanting that would be attractive for them to come here in Yuma. So it's exciting because we'll have our first group coming in this coming fall, and they'll be at the Ag Tech Conference.
Wow.
So who puts that on? Do you guys put that conference on? Is that something that's under YCEDA? Is that
YCEDA?
YCEDA?
Yeah, so it's in partnership. It's the whole university team in Yuma. So it's YCEDA with their experimental station, with our extension partners, and our industry. So we're all putting it on together. And then Western Growers Association, which is another arm side of the ag. They're more of the policy side.
Yeah.
They're also helping to put it on as well. Because
you're
a lot
super
of
smart. I just want to say, like, wow. And what kind of awards have you gotten? We were going to ask you, like, what's like your favorite award that you've received?
My favorite, I have 2 that I think are the most
meaningful
to me. And one of them is Yuma County Farm Bureau president. I've only been the only woman farm bureau president, as far as I know right now. And so that was exciting and very important, the role that Farm Bureau plays in making sure that grassroots policy and law comes up from the bottom up versus policy coming from the top down. So that's a really important thing. And then the other thing I'm really proud of is that, I was an academic advisor working with hundreds of students, and that was awarded as being a great impact and influence on students. So I think that's also important because we can't forget along all this science as part of the integration, we always have to be thinking about workforce development.
Yeah.
Because, as we're moving away from field labor, for example, right? Hand labor and all these other things.
To technology.
We have to, right?
Yep,
We
yep.
have to
Remember the work first.
and making sure.
So thank you so much for coming on. We're running out of time. I wish
learned
we
so
could.
much.
Yes, I wish we could have so much more time with you.
know.
And we're going to definitely have to bring you back. And I'm
For
so
the
grateful.
lasers.
Yeah, I'm grateful that Tom Rush. I don't normally listen to Tom, but this time I'm glad I listened to Tom and got you
No
on
one
the show.
listens to Tom.
Yeah. And with that, What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornales, Juan Garcia, and Dave Reek.
And you can find out more about KAWC at kawc.org, on Facebook at KAWC Radio, and on the KAWC app. And stay tuned following our program for KOFA Midday Music.
And on our next program on Monday, we're going to have Anna Gardinas. I think that's how you say it. Gardinas and Jay Godinez. Okay, there we go. Yeah, one of those. And Jay Simonton. He's the at the City of Yuma. Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, great.
All right, and you can listen to the podcast version of our program anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio, and email us at whatsupyumaradio@kawc.org.
Thank you guys for listening. Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Emma Grace. I love you.
Happy birthday.
What's Up Yuma with Johnny Porter is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. YumaElectricServiceLLC.com.